Researchers found her bones in Kenya. She lived 1.7 million years ago. They called her KNM-ER 1808 when they examined her bones carefully. Something made them stop immediately. An abnormal layer covered her arm bones and covered her leg bones entirely. Not a fracture healed incorrectly over time. Dense new bone growing over old bone. Modern doctors recognize this condition immediately. It happens from catastrophic vitamin A poisoning. She likely ate too much carnivore liver. The condition produces intense and chronic pain. Pain so severe she could not move. She could not hunt for herself. She could not gather her own food. Yet her bones show she survived months. Someone in her group kept her alive. Someone fed her every single day. In a world with no medicine, while she experienced agonizing pain constantly, her skeleton is the oldest documented skeleton, not death from a dramatic predator attack. Slow, invisible internal destruction instead. Nobody around her could explain it. Nobody around her could stop it. This was not the exception then. This was closer to the rule, and it was not the worst. Paleopathologist Jane Buikstra studied ancient remains. She worked at Arizona State University. Her research covered dozens of populations worldwide. 3 killers appeared in every single era. Every culture studied showed the same pattern. Every geographic region without a single exception. The first killer was other human beings. Evidence appears across the entire fossil record. Puncture wounds deliberately made in human skulls. Blade marks deliberately cut into human bones. Fracture patterns from deliberate and repeated blunt force. The second killer barely gets discussed today. Childbirth killed more than 5 billion women, more than any war ever fought anywhere, more than any plague that ever spread, more than every predator attack ever combined. Without modern medicine, childbirth was simply lethal. The third killer left no marks at all. It arrived invisibly and killed completely silently. Ancient DNA shows it predates modern humans. The adaptation against it rewrote our genome. The sickle cell trait spread specifically because of it. The human body evolved a partial defense, at the terrible cost of a blood disorder. Evolution traded one suffering for another suffering because this killer was everywhere, always waiting. Taking people faster than resistance was worth. That invisible third killer was malaria. Malaria has been there since the beginning. But none of those were the worst. The worst was something completely ordinary, something that barely registers as dangerous today. Here's the twist nobody talks about. Archaeologist Philip Walker studied this directly. He worked at UC Santa Barbara. He examined prehistoric skeletal infection evidence worldwide. What he found was consistent everywhere studied. Before antibiotics existed to fight infection internally, before antiseptics existed to clean wounds properly, before anyone understood what germs actually were. A small cut on the wrong day, in the wrong conditions with wrong bacteria, could kill a healthy adult within a week. Not slowly and peacefully as we imagine, with fever climbing until the brain failed, with the wound site swelling and spreading, with infection moving through the bloodstream everywhere, with nothing available to interrupt its progress. Walker found bone infections everywhere he looked, tooth abscesses eating completely through jawbones, a skull found in Zambia specifically, belonging to a Homo heidelbergensis individual, approximately 400,000 years old. Tooth cavities had spread deep into the jawbone. That individual did not die from predators. That individual did not die from starvation. That individual died from a toothache. The toothache nobody around them could treat. Something you treat with one pill today. It was weeks of escalating agony back then. In a world with zero explanation available, nobody understood why the wound kept worsening. Nobody knew what was happening inside them. Nobody knew how to make it stop. The infection kept spreading and spreading relentlessly. The person remained fully conscious throughout everything. Completely aware of everything happening to them, completely unable to understand any of it, completely unable to stop any of it. This is what most ancient death actually was. Not dramatic death from a predator attack, not sudden death in glorious battle somewhere, something quiet and invisible and completely unstoppable, something the person felt in every moment, while everyone around them watched completely helplessly, unable to name what was taking them, unable to prevent it happening to others. Walker found this pattern across every continent. The same invisible death, the same ending. You still carry something from all this. That disproportionate anxiety around minor cuts today, that specific dread of something invisible spreading, that instinct to protect wounds far too carefully. Your brain learned this before you were born, built across 200,000 years of watching something invisible take the people nearby, and never once understanding why it did.